Hey everyone, welcome to the Powersports Talk podcast, brought to you by Motovan. I'm your host, Éric Ménard. Each episode we bring you stories, insights, and conversation from across the powersports industry, from the people who live it to the brands that drive it. Today on the Motovan podcast, we are hosting Kenny Alexander from Fasthouse. Hi, Kenny. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
We're good. We're good. I see that you have something on your shoulder there, eh?
Yeah, about 3.5 weeks ago, I got a shoulder replacement. They've been telling me I needed to do it for the last 10 years or so. I finally got enough nerves to go for it.
So this is like the reward for being a fast guy, I guess.
No, it's reward. Well, I'm not accident prone, but I've been hitting the ground for quite a few years. I was a professional stuntman for 43 years and raced dirt bikes and surfed and skateboarded and stuff as a youth, and just, a lot of wear and tear, but a lot of good times.
Lots of good times, and it seems like Fasthouse is about good times also. From what I get from the brand's pictures and all the layout that we see is about good times.
Yeah, it's well, that's how it kind of all started. My dad, it was a famous promoter and stuff, and back in the late 60s he helped put on some really cool races in Southern California, and then was a big part of this place called Indian Dunes. It was the best motorcycle park ever created, and it was just, it was a home away from home for myself. Yeah. And for a bunch of us young kids, man, that just looked up to all the guys, that used to race across the desert and just, the start of the sport is what I'm getting at. And I grew up there, and it was just, it's been part of my life. It's in my DNA.
And you founded Fasthouse in what year?
Gosh, it had a partner and I, Tim Schmidt. We founded it, I think, around 2015, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and just but where it all comes from is I put on a motorcycle race called the Red Bull Day in the Dirt, and that's been going on 29 years, and that's kind of where it all started. And we've just been playing around with it, and decided to make a few T-shirts one day, and put them up for sale, and kind of the rest is kind of history, man. People loved what we were doing. They loved what we stood for, and it really resonates, man. Tapping into those guys who got us here today.
Yeah. How do you transmit that passion and that experience and the life that you have and you had when you were a kid? How do you transmit that to clothing and like the brand's essence? Because we do get it, we do get where it comes from, but I never quite can grasp how you guys can translate from an idea to an actual collection.
Well, it's we, don't get me wrong, we make really cool stuff. Our gear is I think the best in the market and everything, but it comes from a feeling. It comes from, who's making it, what they're doing it for, and you got to strike a nerve with people, and they got to feel like, what they want to wear your product. They want to be proud of what they're wearing, and it makes them feel like they're a part of something, which they are.
They are, but it's something to be part of something. But when you buy a shirt or a jersey, you want it to last also. So how do you guys select the products that you'll be working with?
Yeah, well, we started out with this one called Grindhouse that was more of the, like, we wanted it to last and get out there, and you could go through the woods with it, or just something that would last a couple years that you can mix match with just a black pair of pants or something. And that's how we kind of got started. But lately we've been getting into a lot more of the race gear, the lighter weight, and we like to call it for race day, for this, when you want to go out there and whoop some butt and look good doing it, man. So all the technical stuff and everything like that, they feel like pajamas, and and it looks pretty awesome. Yeah.
Would you say that the riders nowadays are more sensible to the looks that back in the day when you guys were riding at the Indian Dunes?
I think you have those racers that kind of want to look like, some of the pros and stuff, but then you have those weekend warriors and that's like 90% of the people that just either go to the track, think they're going to race one of these days, or they're just going out with their buddies in the hills and having a good time. That's it kind of, it's hard to say. It's hard to say what they're looking for, but we like to think that we're more for the weekend warrior here at Fasthouse.
Okay. Now you started in 2015. It's a tough market, I guess. So how do you manage to shine in that market and to become what Fasthouse is becoming? I've been in the industry for 20 years, and you see some brands that try and they fail. After a couple of years, they have big budgets backing them, but they don't quite, get it. And you guys are, consistent. Every year we see more and more products being put out by Fasthouse. So how do you manage that?
Well, again, I'm going to go back to a feeling. That's what we're built on here, is keeping out in front of people, throwing events, throwing parties. We are, speed, style, and good times. Our speed is our gear. Our style is our soft goods, t-shirts, clothing, and our good times is we throw some fun parties and some fun events for people to go enjoy themselves and live life. And I think that's what works for us, and that's what resonates with them all. And they want to wear something that says Fasthouse.
It's really the essence of Southern California for me. Every time I meet guys that ride from there, they're always like the coolest guys, and they like riding. So is this like a big crowd over there, or is just like a few guys that do? How many people you got at your events on weekends?
Well, we do. The Day in the Dirt is the biggest race in Southern California. We get about 1,300 individuals and about over 3,500 entries. That's what yeah. So it is the Woodstock of motocross. People come out there for the weekend and just, there's even people that don't ride. They just come out there and want to camp and mingle with the right, and with their heroes and stuff. So it's a really cool vibe. And like I said, it's been going on for 29 years, and something special. We've been partners with Red Bull for going on 29 years, and we're the longest running partner that they've had doing stuff. And we were the first two-wheel in the United States.
Really?
So that is pretty awesome.
It is awesome, because when you mentioned 29 years of Red Bull, I was like, did Red Bull appear 29 years ago? Or I thought it was younger than that.
I'll tell you a really funny story. So, they were big. Oh, they were big in Austria and overseas. And my film industry background, like I said, a Day in the Dirt is something special. That when the first one came out, it was for the film industry. And we had some of our sponsors were James Cameron, the movie director.
Okay.
We had a bunch of other film industry people helping out and stuff. And the first year we threw it, then Red Bull came to us and asked us how they could be a part of it. And we were one of their first events in the United States that they ever put their arms around. And we're still with them. So that goes to show you that we're, that we're pretty legit.
Well,
that's how Fasthouse kind of got started. After a little bit of that, it was resonating with everybody, and we decided to start making like t-shirts and stuff. And then we made a jersey, and everyone wanted to fly our colors, and that's how it kind of got going.
And what's the process for developing new products? Do you just go like, oh, let's do this, or you're looking at the market and what's popular or what's more needed for riders?
Yeah, well, some of our technical features, yes, but for our design for Fasthouse, we don't like to follow anybody. We like to kind of set the trend and kind of do it. And a lot of companies tried to follow us and do what we were doing, but it didn't work for them because, again, you go back to, you got to strike a nerve. You have to be legit, right? Does that make sense?
It does make sense for motorcyclists because it's a passion business, and if you're phony, we know right away.
Exactly.
It's funny.
Exactly.
It's funny because I've been in the industry for a while, and you see people coming out, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I wrote this and that," and you're like, you know what? It doesn't resonate with me, so it's kind of phony. We have that like that sixth sense
Well,
about it.
you gotta have a story behind you, and your roots have got to run deep, you know. And our roots run pretty dang deep, and we've been very fortunate to get hooked up with the right people, and we make some cool stuff.
So it's a bit about being true to the sport and a bit of your connections also. And being in
Mhm.
California, you have obviously many connections that you can get in that industry. But I guess you have a team with you. It's not just Kenny in his office. How do you select people that surround you?
Well, if you work with good people, you do good work. So you know what I'm saying. So we've been through some, but the core group that's here right now is kicking butt. And don't get me wrong, I couldn't do it without any of these. These guys are great, and
Mhm.
they represent who we are, and they 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 do it because they love it, and they love what we stand for.
It's also a collab business. Nowadays, you see a lot of athletes, being associated with brands. Who are the people you work with, and how do you select them?
Well, when we first started out, I had this guy named Sean Collier, a local hero that, I mean, he was a blue collar worker, and we kind of got him off the couch because we knew he was super cool and fast. And we got him, and then he kind of put us on the map when it came to racing. And then I always loved this kid named Tyler Bierman, and
Hmm.
I just said, you know what, I would love to work with him. And we hooked up, and we sponsored him, and then he brought in another kid named Darren Durham, and they we sponsored them to go race some supercrosses and go across the United States and cause some trouble. And I think it was the best thing that we ever did here at Fasthouse by far. They just Tyler has just been a part of the family, I think, for the last 10 years, and just been something special for us here.
How many employees do you have at Fast House?
Well, we went to a 3PL. We used to have like 40 something. Now we're down to, I think, like 18.
Okay.
So it's a pretty tight group.
Well, I guess it's easier to move around when you're a smaller group to get you know people in the right
It's a
direction.
lot more work. It's a lot more work. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's people wearing like 12 hats, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but we've scaled it back, and it seems to be working.
Well, you sell a lot of hats, so I guess it's good.
Yeah, that's for sure.
uh, so, what's your planning for the next 5 years? Are you trying to evolve each and every asset of the brand, or maybe having new products, or evolving into like I don't know support for the knees or stuff like that?
You
Or
know,
it's mostly like branding.
I think we're more of just like what you wear on the outside. The technical part, there's guys that have been doing it for so long, and they're so good. We would love to. We are going to be working with a different helmet company doing some stuff. So we're looking forward to that. That's exciting. And then, like I said, there's other companies that are really good at doing that. We are getting into more of like the off-road market, more of the jackets, more of the winter type stuff that we're looking at doing, so you can ride all year long. And
Okay, maybe
then,
like going from motocross stuff to adventure riding stuff.
yeah, more of adventure riding, or just, because we're noticing that the market is getting a little older, and they don't
Yeah.
want to go hit a big double or triple or something like that. They want to kind of keep the wheels on the ground. So,
Mhm.
and we resonate with those guys.
But you
Yeah.
need some larger jackets for them.
Yes, a little bit around the middle, you know. So yeah,
They're a bit
but
heavier riders.
yeah, and then just our casual thing is huge for us. And as long as we give them something cool to wear when they go out to dinner with their loved one, or you know what I mean, I think it works for us. They want to feel it, 7 days a week instead of just on Sundays.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
also, I guess when you're a rider, being older, like I'm an older rider, and you like, you still have that feeling that you want to get, you're the fast guy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and what I like about Fast House, not only the name that mentions, speed,
Mhm.
but you got some brands like I'm thinking of Deus Ex Machina. So it was always like the same. Oh yeah, I'm so cool. I got this shirt, and I think after a while, it kind of died down for me. I was like, oh, it's always like the same design. It's about being cool. Now you
Mhm.
guys are about being fast or being in the sport. So that's a different approach to the thing, and I'm thinking it's gonna last maybe a bit longer.
Well, I hope so, but again, our customer goes out there and does two fast laps and then comes in and sits in the back by his truck and tells stories. So that's our customer. We know where we're coming from,
I like these guys.
I mean, that's who I hang out with. That's all. That's kind of like who I know, right?
Obviously.
They talk a lot they talk a lot, put it that way. But I think, I think you're right. I think that we have that race feel, but that doesn't mean you have to be the top guy to wear our stuff,
Oh,
right?
that you
And you can
appreciate.
you can wear a Fast House hat and still wear another gear company
Hmm.
stuff. Our brand is a different type of brand. We didn't start as a gear company. We started as a lifestyle or a movement,
Hmm.
and we just so happen to make really good gear. Does that make sense?
It does make
And
sense.
I think that's where our advantage is.
And there's also, as I mentioned earlier, is for me, wearing this stuff from South California, especially as a Canadian in Montreal when it's minus 100 degrees outside, it kind of warm you up to put a T-shirt about California riding, and you feel like you're there for a while.
Hmm.
I guess this is what's appealing to us in Canada, the riders here. What do you think makes the Fasthouse Motovan relationship work? And how do you select the distributors in a specific country?
Well, you know what? I do have some input on all that, but
Mhm.
that's been done through, I think, Helmet House and our CEO Mark Ferris and stuff like that, putting some of those deals together.
Okay.
I think it's a perfect match. Um, and you guys have been doing really, really well for us, and I think it's a good thing.
It is a good, well, it seems to be
Yeah.
working so far
Yeah,
so good.
exactly.
I've been wearing because I do a motorcycle TV show here, and I've been wearing some of the shirts, and I like the look, I like the fit. It fits
Hmm.
my 55 year old guy body, so it's perfect.
That's perfect. That's what is so funny about our company. When we started Fast House, it was just going to be more of a website where you could go and hang out and learn about those legends, right? Where legends hang and stuff.
Okay.
Because when we started the website, there was no Facebook, there was no, you know what I'm saying? There was no Instagram and stuff. And we had all the cool information, photos, and it was like a hub where
Okay.
our audience and our motorcycle lovers could go to and learn about things and connect and feel like they were at home. Does that make sense?
It was a bit like the Horizons Unlimited of motocross riders. Like
Yeah.
you see vintage pictures and legends being talked about and getting some ideas to where to go ride, I guess.
Yeah.
So it was for that, and then it evolved in the brand that we know today.
Yes.
And did you have any experience, doing that kind of business before? But because I don't get the stuntman to fast
Well,
house.
no, because, well, like I said, my dad was a big race promoter, and I've grown up, I've been in that forever, right? And then I was working as a stuntman, and a buddy and I, his name's Jimmy Roberts, we decided to throw a race like the old days, and that was a day in the dirt.
Okay.
And it was a 1 day event, and we invited a couple hundred our friends, and 1,000 showed up that day. We're talking legends like Ricky Johnson,
Wow.
Jane Robert. We're talking all these like Jeff Ward, Brock Glover. All these guys came out to hang out with us, and it was just turned into some it turned into it was a big party for that day that was broken up by a couple of races, and it stuck. Right. And then we went from there to, like I said, Red Bull heard about it. We got connected with them, and we've been doing it ever since. Now it's a week-long event, and we tapped in. We had the right people, and we tapped into a feeling, and the
You
rest
tapped
is
into a feeling, yeah.
the rest is history. The rest is history. And if you strike a nerve in somebody, they'll stay loyal to you and become family. And that's what we got. We got a huge family of hundreds of thousands
Wow.
of people that love us. Yeah.
Are you thinking of doing, more events, or
Well, we have 3 day in the dirts, and we do this big 2-stroke race thing that we do here, and then we do this thing called Surfer Cross as well. We're loaded.
You are?
We are as loaded. We have so many events a year that we do, and we help promote to keep the sport fun.
You think in the future you'll have to maybe split and have like the event division and then the gear division?
We sort of do right now. That's like a big headache here, I mean, because everyone wants to play in each other's business, right?
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of it, a little chaos is good, if you get what I'm saying. But we do run it as it was an event division first, if you get what I'm saying.
That's it. And then it evolves. So what are the plans for this year? What drives you for next year? Because you've been there for a while, so.
I love to put smile on people's faces.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
That's what I love to do. I've been living this my whole life. I don't know any other way of doing it.
Okay.
And it's just a passion, and I'm surrounded with people that feel the same way, and we're damn lucky.
And is there a next generation of Alexander that is going to be in the business?
Well, my son works here now. He does all of our social and he's our events activation. He does all that stuff. He's been playing around with it, but he's got other interests. We'll find out. We'll find out if he hangs in there or not. Yeah.
At least you get to work with him for a while.
Exactly.
So very, very nice, very interesting talking to you, Kenny, today. I wish the best for your brand, and I really want to be able to go to one of your events one of these days because it sounds interesting. I'll probably be the slowest guy on the track, but I can do it on
That's perfect.
So.
That's awesome. Most of our guys are real slow, so that you're gonna have your work cut out for you being the slowest.
Good. All right, Kenny. All the best.
All right. Peace.